Hi everyone, welcome to another live ukulele jam with me, Matt Stead, Kanikapila Monday. And tonight we're going to do love songs, so I hope you're feeling in the mood for love. So we haven't gone totally kind of cheesy, we're going to have a bit of a mix tonight. So we've got everything from the Ronettes through to Dolly Parton, and also a really kind of lost indie gem as well from the Field Mice. So hopefully a little bit of everything for you. I hope you're all keeping well. Don't worry if it buffers a bit at this point, because it always calms down as we get um, into the lesson properly. So don't sweat it. Just if you could let me know how the sound is doing, that would be absolutely fabulous. Hi everyone. Hi Johnny. Hi Lisa. Hi John. Hope you're keeping well. Hi Chris. Hi Karen, hi Margaret, hi other Karen. Cool. We've got John here tonight as well. So John Theophilus, I was just commenting before we started. He's the other half of my ukulele reference book. So John did all the clever kind of putting all the crazy thoughts in my mind onto paper. So it's all his work for the artwork and the diagrams and everything. He's a very clever man. So yeah, hope you're doing well, guys. Hi John. Hi Margaret. How is it where you are? Has anyone seen any UFOs tonight? That seems to be the order of the day, doesn't it, on the news? So yeah, hi James. So just a couple of boring admin bits, just to get us started. Oh, let me just move that. I've just made something giant. Where? How can I move that? See, it's the aliens. That just kidding. So, a couple of things. Just a reminder that next Wednesday, not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday, we've got my next live lesson. And I thought I'd kind of carry on from the Jazzing Up the Blues, because people seem to really, really enjoy that last time, which was fantastic, which is great. Thank you, everyone. And one of my students, or one of my YouTube students, got in touch to say that he remembered me doing a video a while ago. Actually, I think it was a live lesson. I think it was during the first lockdown, where we looked at I Got Riven. I Got Riven. And we kind of broke it down. It's one of the most famous chord progressions of all time, so much so that it just gets shortened to, people just call it the rhythm changes. And we looked at that, and we looked at how to add in some of these chords we were doing, some of these lovely jazz chords that we did with the blues. So what I've done is I've created a similar lesson to the blues, where we take the basic rhythm changes and we zhuzh it up a bit, make it much more exciting, which is going to be great, hopefully. So that's a week Wednesday, everyone. So me and Sharon were talking about listening to War of the Worlds tonight, so just to get us in the mood. Hi Val, hi Bev, hope you're all doing well. There we go. Hi Esther, I think you snuck in there somewhere, I didn't see you. There we go, just woke up in time, brilliant. So there we go. I know Esther's been uking today, so she'll be right on form. She's doing amazing in a lesson earlier. Not that Esther ever sounds bad, because she's always good, isn't she? Okay, that's a genuine compliment. I mean that, Esther. Okay. Right, so let's have a look at what we're going to do tonight then. So tonight we're going to do love songs, if I can find the sheets, hiding down here. Oh, just a couple of other boring bits of admin. If anyone's feeling super generous and they want to donate towards the running costs of the channel, I've put links in the description, but also in the comments as well. And thank you, massive thank you from the bottom of my heart to everyone that's donated this week. You've been really kind as always, and it really helps me to keep me going. Or there's the tip jar here as well, or you can do the old sticker thing on YouTube, which is fantastic. So thank you so much to everyone that's been super kind. And if you enjoyed this and you'd like to learn more about my teaching, mattsteadukulele.com is where you'll find it. You'll also find all of the previous Kanikapilas that we've done, and there are tons. Last week I had a very rare quiet moment one day, so I sat down on YouTube and I tried to work out how much content there was, And I worked out there's 326 lessons on there, which is a bit kind of overwhelming, isn't it? But what this website does is it puts them all into order. They're actually, a lot of them are written out in generic sequential courses to make it really easy to follow. Anyway, I'm rambling. Come on, let's get on with some music. So let's have a look at our sheets today. You'd be glad to know, in terms of the chords, these are really nice, gentle songs tonight. They're really easy chords, but that means there's loads that we can do with them. So don't worry, we'll have loads of fun as well. We're going to start with an absolute classic by the Ronettes, penned by Phil Spector. Now, if you're interested, in the back of our sheets, Karen devised this really cool kind of little kind of factoids about the songs that you might not have realised. So I've just turned into the back of my sheets on screen just to show you. We've also got the rebus as well, and the find a boot and a pair of pants and a cowbell competition. I haven't actually worked out these rebus yet, so I'll have a look at those in a bit. We've got the scales for tonight as well, but right in the back here we go. Where is it? Did I go past it? There's a fascinating facts section. I won't read them all out because you can have a look later on. There we go. Fascinating facts about the songwriters for tonight and the singers. So some really cool stuff in there. I had no idea about, for instance, Harrison Ford doing a version of Wonderful World, so that's cool. I'm going to look that up later. So thanks, Karen. And Karen and Esther did a lot of work on the sheets again, taking my crazy thoughts and making them look beautiful. So thank you guys. Thanks heaps for all of your help. Okay, so we're going to start with an absolute classic, as I say, Be My Baby by the Ronettes. Now, this uses some absolute classic chords. So the verses, in fact, did you know that if you take just the verse and the pre-chorus, that it's, apart from one chord, it's the exact chords to I Got Rhythm by George Gershwin. So when we do that live lesson, I didn't plan this, it's a complete coincidence. But isn't that interesting? Doesn't it show how a lot of these songs use familiar structures? And that structure that George Gershwin wrote has been used for jazz songs throughout the age, but also it's gone into pop songs. So it's based on something called the 1-6-2-5 progression. So in the key of C, we number the chords after where they come in the scale, C being 1, D being 2, E3, and so on and so forth. So a 1-6-2-5 progression is C, A, which would be 6, so C, D, E, F, G, A, and then we normally play that as a minor, and then 2 would be D minor, and then 5 would be G, one of the most famous chord combinations of all time. Only in this case, we just don't have the A minor, so now we just have our 1, 2, 5. And they're easy peasy lemon squeezy to do. I'll come in on close cam, but you all know these, don't you? C, and then we have D minor. I'll show you this pattern in a sec, and a G. Each of those boxes is a measure, so you can just count them along. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the next section, which was popularised by George Gershwin, is the backwards around the circle of fifths thing. Now, I'm going to have loads of paper on screen. This is going to get a little bit confusing, but it'll only be for a minute. Let's see, I've made it tiny, now I've made it massive. I'm always struggling with this, aren't I, guys? So if we have a look at this circle of fifths, this was just a diagram that's been around for many, many years. And it gives you all of the notes in the Western world, pretty much. And when they go round clockwise, they go round in fifths. That just means that going up from C, C, D, E, F, G, we have G. Going up from G, G, A, B, C, D. Going up from D, D, E, F, G, A. You can see how it's worked. We're going up in fifths. And George Gershwin found if we go round the circle of fifths to say E, and we play it as a seventh chord, seventh chords never feel rested. They want to move on to the next chord. That then wants to resolve backwards to an A7. These fifth chords always want to resolve backwards around the circle of fifths. If we play that as a seventh, that wants to resolve backwards to a D. If we played it as a D, it would feel finished, but play that as a D7, asks another question. That wants to resolve backwards, and we go all the way back until we get to G. So this next section we just call a backwards round the circle of fifths. When you start hearing those, they're really easy to remember because this come up again and again. As I say, it's in I Got Rhythm, it's the chorus to Two Eyes of Blue, it's the chorus to Please Don't Talk About Me Anymore. Just so many songs. Let's just look at the chord shapes. I think you probably all know these. E7 like this, 1, 2, 0, 2, 3 and 4, A7, just one finger. And D7, nice and simple, isn't it? You could do Hawaiian D7 if you like. And then we go to G. Okay, that's it, and that's our pre-chorus. Nice and simple. Now, before I do the chorus, I'll just show you the strum pattern that we're going to do in this one. Oh, good to know that John's getting lots of love for the book on here as well. So thanks, guys. Thank you. There we go. Irina, I hope you're keeping well over there in Germany. Hope you're doing well. Okay, so the strum pattern that we're going to do is we're going to do straight eights. Now, if you've done Kanikapila before, you'll know what that means. If you haven't, it just means we're going to strum the on beats and off beats. The on beats are your numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. The off beats are your and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. When we do it together, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. The reason we call them straight eights is because we're playing them straight, we're not swinging it. And if you added up the ands and the ones and the 2 and the 3 and the 4s, you get 8 in a measure, basically. That's why we call them straight eights. And I like to, well, on this one, because I like it nice and warm, I like to just strum down with the pad of my thumb. Just keeps it really nice and warm. Something else I do is I like to strum a little bit harder on 2 and 4. Don't sweat that, but it will sound something like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Notice that when I'm strumming all the other notes apart from 2 and 4, I'm mostly just strumming the top couple of strings, which sounds really sweet. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. If not, just strum down, you'll be absolutely fine. Finally, let's do the chorus and then we can start our first song. The chorus is another really famous chord progression. Instead of 1, 6, 2, 5, we've got 1, 6, 4, 5. 1 sets us off. The 2 adds a touch of melancholy. That's lightened a bit by the 4 chord, the F. And then finally, the 5 chord G just adds that tension that makes you want to go round again. Okay, that's it. Really, really simple on this one. So we're also going to have a look at a little solo if anyone wants to. I'll go into more depth on soloing a little bit later, just to help you out, because I just want to get us singing a song and it'd be great. Hi Mike, no worries mate. Glad you could make it. But if you fancy having a go at a solo on this one, you can use the C major pentatonic scale or the A minor pentatonic scale. If you want, you could use the full C major. And try and think of some of the things we talked about last week. So filling in the gaps if you want it slightly jazzier, and kind of think about resolving down to a C at the end of a section. Now, remember the cool trick as well on the A minor pentatonic. You can just play all of the dots on your A string and it will sound good. So for instance, just hitting the dots, could be really simple, right? Just my dots. Okay, so just have a little experiment with that if you feel like having a go at the soloing. And for those that don't want a solo, where it says interlude stroke solo, we're just going to play the chords to the verse. All right, so we're just going to keep it nice and simple. Just keep going round. You can follow the words as well. Oh, hi Charlene, I saw on Facebook. Yeah, you're on the run. Don't worry, you can always catch up later. Absolutely brilliant. Okay, guys, I'll keep my uke up here. You might not see this hand, but I'll keep it up here so you can see the chords I'm playing. And as always, if it looks like I'm staring off into the distance, it's just because I'm reading the words. I should know this off by heart because actually this was on an album that I did with my friend Jen years and years ago. And I've sung this live so many times. We used to sing it at indie clubs. I've even sung this in a church in Norway on a fjord. How cool is that? Okay, let's just let's just do a chorus as an introduction, and then we'll start singing the verse. So chords to the chorus, then join me on the verse. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and C. A minor. Here comes that F. And to G. Okay, here we go. Here's our first verse. The night we met, I knew I needed you so. And if I had the chance, I'd never let you go. Here's the pre-chorus. You can do the oohs. So won't you say you love me? I'll make you so proud of me. We'll make them turn their heads every place we go. So won't you please be my baby, my one and only baby. Be my baby now. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. I'll make you happy, baby. Just wait and see. For every kiss you bring me, I will give you 3. Let's hit smooth. Oh, since the day I saw you, I have been waiting for you. You know I will adore you to eternity. So won't you please be my baby, my one and only baby. Be my baby now. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. Take a solo. Go on, guys. Just hit those dots on the A string. Otherwise, just strum the verse. Okay, start to wrap up those little solos, and we'll hit a pre-chorus. Oh, since the day I saw you, I have been waiting for you. You know I will adore you to eternity. So won't you please be my little baby, my one and only. Be my little darling. Be my baby now. Oh, whoa, oh, oh, oh. And be my baby. my baby now. One more time. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. Be my little baby, my one and only. Be my little darling. Be my baby now. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. Well done, everyone. I'm so sorry, I forgot to warn you about the heartbeat bit. Bum, 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 bum. I just tap my uke, just for fun. So I hope you enjoyed that. Really, really simple song, but it shows how, well, a couple of things really, how some of the most brilliant simple songs can be the best. And I think that one's an absolutely wonderful example. Just the melody is just so beautiful, isn't it? Just absolutely gorgeous. Yet the underlying harmony, the chords are really, really simple. And it goes right back to George Gershwin. Just amazing, isn't it, really? So a song from, this one was 1963, song from 1963 by Phil Spector. And basically using the exact chords from George Gershwin from the 1920s. Just like, mad, right? Isn't it great? That's what I love about music. I was having an argument with my kids this week because they're big Dua Lipa fans. And she's got a song called Levitating. I actually love Dua Lipa. I love a bit of cheesy pop music, and I actually think she's great. It's one that goes, moonlight, starshine, you're my good time. I got you, da da, da da da. I'm levitating, and I found out from a bit of YouTube research that it's the exact chords and notes from another song from 1990 by someone else. So it happens with everyone. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to do one more Stonewall kind of classic ballad. We're going to have a look at Can't Help Falling in Love with You. Then we're going to do something a little bit more upbeat from the 1980s. We're going to do an indie, really nice indie gem by a band called the Field Mice, which is really sweet. But we've got to have a look at a bit of Elvis first, haven't we? So let's have a look at Can't Help Falling in Love with You. Interestingly, this has become a bit of a kind of ukulele classic, this one. There's quite a few Hawaiian artists that have covered this, both as with lyrics and as chord melody, which is nice. So, yeah. Oh, thanks, guys. Let us know how you got on with that. It is really soothing, isn't it? It's a really just classic, beautiful, beautiful chords. Ah, David, yeah. Let me just bring David in on screen for a second. Thanks, guys. And David was just asking, yeah, with those chord numbers, they can be played in every key, and absolutely any key in the world, we could do exactly the same thing. So just as an example, because this is really, really good learning actually, and I know some of you will already know this, but it's a really nice to take the example. So I'm just going to go back just a second before we do I Can't Help Falling in Love. So say you wanted to take the chords to the verse from Be My Baby. It's the 1, 2 and 5. So you could do that in any key. Just know that certain chords have certain qualities. So the 2 chord and the 3 chord and the 6 chord tend to be played as minors, and the 1, the 4 and the 5 tend to be played as major. The 7th is unusual, it's normally a diminished. Okay, and you can use these numbers to help you further, because if it's undercase numbers, we play it as a minor. If it's normal capital letters, we play it as a major. So in the key of G, G would be 1. Da, da, da. I'll go lower. Da, 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 da. And then 2, G, A would be A minor. Da, da, da. And then 4, G, A, B, C, D. Da. So there we have the chorus in G, the verse in G. With every kiss you bring me, I will bring you free. Whatever the words are, right? It's magical. Just one more example in the key of F. F would be 1. The 2 would be G, and because we play it as a minor, it would be G minor. And the 5, F, G, A, B, flat, C. So, with every kiss you I will bring you 3. Right? It's magic, isn't it? Really cool. And that's why I love these Nashville numbers. That's actually, I prefer to sing that in G. It's actually really hard for me to sing in the key of C. But I like to do the first song in C because it's a key that everyone knows really well. Elvis is in the building. Absolutely. So this song uses some interesting chords in it. So this time we have what I call the heartbreak chord. In any key, the third note of a scale comes in when something really sad is happening in the song, or if the composer wants a feel of kind of a real heart-wrenching kind of sadness almost. So we call it the heartbreak chord. And in the key of C, D, it's E minor. And Rena, yeah, absolutely. So the small letters just mean minor, big letters major. That's exactly it. In every key, certain ones are major or minor. So, Indrani's, yeah, absolutely. Indrani, so in every key, 1, 4, 5 are majors. So C, F and G in this instance. 2, 3 and 6 are minor. Okay, so in the key of C, let me go through them just quickly because it's really interesting, I think. In the key of C, C would be a major, 2 would be a minor, D minor, 3 would be a minor, here's the heartbreak chord, sad sounding chord, right? 4 would be a major, 5 would be a major, 6 would be a minor, A minor, and finally the last one tends to be played as a diminished 7 or a minor 7 flat 5. Don't worry too much about that, it's a bit of a weird one. Has that kind of jazzy quality to it. So you can think of every key. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, back to 1. It's a series of chords, just like the notes. Okay. And then if you think about, you might think, but what about all the other chords, like augmented chords and suspended chords and things like that? Those are just alterations of these. And that's why we write in the chords to help you as well. You'll see in this one, we've got some sevenths, which give it a more kind of groovy feel in part of the next section. All right, so that's the way it works. Let's have a look at the chords then. So this one, start off with one chord, makes us feel at home. We almost always, but not always, but almost always start with one, don't we? Wise men. Then a heartbreak chord, E minor. Sing. Then we have the A minor. That's like a kind of not quite as heart-wrenching as the 3 chord. Only. We call this the change chord, the 4, because it gives a feel of change. Fools rush resolves back down to the 1 chord C. Yeah. No, it doesn't. Only fools goes to C. Rush. And then we've got the 5 chord. There we go. Let's just do that slowly. C, E minor, A minor, 2 of those. And F and C. 5 chord gives tension, G. F gives change, tension is 5, G. A minor gives a touch melancholy, F. And a real common ending in any verse is the 1 to the 5 to the 1 again. So you start to get a feel for these classic combinations. Now you can do all sorts of strums with this. I'm going to keep those straight 8s going. We will do more interesting strums later on, I promise. So let's do one of those verses. All right, I'll stay on close, Cam. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Wise men say only fools rush in. But I can't help falling in love with you. Okay, like that. this one is a personal favourite of mine. You're all gonna hate me for it now. But when I go to the football on the Saturday with my daughter, this is the song, believe it or not. It's kind of, you wouldn't think of it as a football song, right? But this is the song that plays before before Swindon come out, my team. And we all sing wise men swing, only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. Swindon. So it's my football song, so I had to put this one in. Hope you don't mind. Sorry for any rugby fans or any Oxford fans. Okay, so let's have a look at the next bit then. So, where are we? Esther's just spotted an error, so let me just check that out a second because I don't want to be telling you wrong things. What have we got? So, bridge should be 3, 7. As a Oh no, that's fine, Esther. Yeah, it's just the sevens written in undercase. That doesn't matter. That's all good. Don't worry about that. It would normally be a diminished anyway. So yeah, don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Okay, let's have a look at that bridge because something interesting happens here. We go to the heartbreak chord, the E minor, and that gives a real sense of tension in this part. Like a river. Now we have a B7, and Esther's right. Normally, if it's a seventh chord, which is a major triad with a seventh on top, don't sweat the theory. Normally, we would have uppercase letters, but other than that, it's fine. Don't worry too much about it. All right. Now there's a nice trick. You can play B7 like this, guys, right? Which is like an A7 moved up. But I actually like to play B7, particularly in this context, like this. 4, 3, 2, off. You've probably guessed why I like to play this B7, because it's an E minor moved up towards my nose. So we strum an E minor, then we just move it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, down, up, down, up. Isn't that cool? And to make it even easier, sometimes to get up from that E minor, if you're really quick, you can kind of move one of your fingers first to help. This particularly helps if you haven't got a strap. You can move this to here. See how it kind of scouts ahead? If you do it quick enough, you can't even hear it, right? You have to be super quick. Eventually it becomes almost imperceptible. It is there, but it's, see? If I speed it up. And that's a really nice way to do this middle bit. So I'll go over it in time now. Okay, so we'll start V minor. 1, 2, 3, 4, E minor, B7, E minor, B7. I'm going to strum this actually. E minor, B7, E minor, then A7, D minor, and G. That's the hard part, right? Because you've got to go quickly from E minor to A7, D minor, and G. If you're not sure, just get ready on the G and get ready to come in on the verses. So just whilst we're there, why don't we try one of those just ever so quickly? Just the bridge. 1 and out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, sorry. I needed to get my words ready. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. Then we're back to a verse, right? Wise men say, stay on that, then F. Only fools rush in. Stay on that one, then F. But I can't help falling in love with you. There you go. Fantastic. Beautiful, right? Okay, so there we go. Let me just check. Oh yeah, yeah, Indrani, not a bug, definitely. It's a cool thing to do. And do you know what? I've been in a James Hill lesson where he teaches this in a different song, and even he does it himself. So if James Hill can do the little step ladder up, anyone can, right? So we're allowed to if he can. Now this one has a solo in it. With this one, it's such a short solo, but if you want to, we can play it over the verse. Now of this one, I really like to extend out the C major pentatonic. I like to include the notes from the C major scale. But if you're not sure, just use the pentatonic will be absolutely fine. So remember, that's all the dots on your A string. Or we can do the dots on your E string, but remember we have to go to the 8th fret, not the 7th fret on the E string. That's what makes the notes on that string a little bit more awkward. We can also do it down here. We could do C, D, E, G, A, C. Let me come in close from the C string. That would be off C, 2nd fret D, open E, F. No, not an F. You're going to go straight to G. My bad. A, open A, G. So that's off 2, off 3, off 3. Now the reason I made a mistake and I added that F in, I quite often like to use the notes from the full C major scale. So C, C, D, E, F, 1st fret, G, A, B at the 2nd fret, and C. You can have a little play around with that. Again, keep it really simple. You can do something quite pretty. I don't know if you can hear this backing track. I'll just do a quick go just so you can hear. Just keeping it really simple. Something like that, be really pretty. Doesn't have to be crazy. Could even make it even more simple than that. Just quickly, I'll just use maybe 3 notes. See, so it doesn't have to be really, really tricky stuff. Choose maybe just 3 notes and just really have fun with it, because when you start to solo on these things, and this is what a feature of kind of Hawaiian Kanikapila. I know we've taken the Hawaiian Kanikapila and we've taken it away slightly from what the original feel was, because we would have no music and we'd be playing by ear, obviously, completely. I'm nudging you towards that, but gently. And a feature of Hawaiian Kanikapila is we take it in turns to solo on these little instrumental parts, which is a lovely thing to do. I think it just really brings something in as well. So yeah, that's it. Just got a couple of questions on this before we get started. So I'm just going to check on here. There we go. No worries. Good to see you made it. Good to see you made it. So let's have a look. Would you do an open GCE picking pattern or something fancy pants in a verse? Fancy pants, love it. Yeah, picking pattern would be super nice. Now, because this is quite a quick 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes we do 1 and 2 and 3. We're doing it as kind of like straight 4s. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. It means you need to be fairly quick, but it also means it makes it kind of quite simple. If I come over here, you could just pick from G string down to A, just one at a time. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Just top to bottom. Wise men say only fools rush in. That would be lovely. If you prefer, you could do inside out. That's quite a good fun one as well. So you could do C, E, G, A. No, it's not an A note because I'm covering it here for a high C note, but you get the idea. The strings are C, E, G, A. That would be inside, outside, inside, outside. You probably know from a lot of the stuff I do, guys, I love this pattern because it goes from the lowest note on a reentrant uke to the highest. Wise men say, and I like the way you just cycle through your fingers. Only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. That'd be lovely, wouldn't it? That'd be lovely. In fact, do you know what? I might join you. I'm going to do a picking pattern on the verses. Why not? Why not? I'll do it for fun, okay? And then I'll probably just do it on the first verse just to get us going. And then I'll strum because it helps keep everyone in time if I strum. That's my excuse. I'm sticking to it. All right. And the song just goes verse, verse, bridge, verse as an instrumental, verse, bridge, and then another verse. So if in doubt, if it sounds wrong, get on the other section, all right, and you'll be absolutely fine. Let's just do a verse as an introduction just to get us all going. All right, so you don't have to pick like me, you can just strum. Okay, that'll be absolutely fine. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, C. Minor, A minor, F, G. What's why am I? Ah, I'm going wrong now. Sorry, let's start again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now your second line. F, C, G, F, G, A minor, F, C, G, C. Right back to the start now, guys. Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I stay? Would it be a sin if I can't help falling in love with you? Here comes our bridge. Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. First interlude. Sing. Hit a solo if you feel up to it. If not, just strum with me. Another verse from the top. Take my hands, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with you. Another bridge. Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. One more verse. Take my hands, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling last two lines. For I can't help, slow it down, falling in love with you. Thank you very much. Sorry. I tell you what, it was the hardest thing in the world for me at the end of that last verse not to sing I can't help falling in love with you. Swindon! Swindon! Oh dear, sorry guys. Ali 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 oh, Ali 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 oh, Swinton Town FC from the West Country. That's our other one. Right, okay, enough craziness. Let me know how you got on with that. Isn't it a beautiful song? Again, you know, just sometimes so the simple stuff is just absolutely glorious. Not that that's too simple. That one's got a lot of chord changes in, isn't it? Which is makes it interestingly. There's a really nice factoid in the back about this. Save me flipping to it. I've got my hard copy here. And Karen did a bit of research, although I know Karen's got great pop knowledge, so she probably knew all this already. But the melody from I Can't Help Falling in Love is based on a French song written in 1784 by Jean-Paul et Guide Martini, entitled, sorry Esther, who lives in France, I'm probably saying this horribly wrong, Plaisir d'amour. Perhaps Esther or someone else could translate that for me. Plaisir d'amour. Pleasure of love? Something like that? I don't know. And that was a really common thing. Elvis had a lot of songs where he took old folk songs and then he translated them into modern pop songs. I say his songwriting team did. And one of the most famous examples of that is Aurelie. Aurelie was an old folk song, and that became Love Me Tender. Da, 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 da. So yeah. Oh, Esther, don't tempt me. I think I'd lose like any fans I once had if I did a whole Kanikapila of football songs. We could do Love's Got the World in Motion. That would be a good one, wouldn't it? Bit of New Order. Vindaloo, na 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 na. Maybe not. We'll see. Pleasure of love or joy of love. Oh, good. Thanks, guys. Okay, so let's take a look at this next one. Might not be known to some of you. This is I think it's an absolutely beautiful song. And I'm a little bit biased because I played this at my wedding ceremony. So when I married Sharon, my wife, we got married in Marylebone Town Hall. And you might think, what? Marylebone Town Hall? That's a weird place to get married. The reason we chose it, and this is really nerdy, is that we're both massive Beatles fans. Some of you might already know that. And it was where Paul McCartney got married to Linda McCartney, and lots of other famous people, but that was our link. That was our Beatles link. So we got married in Marylebone Town Hall, and we went full on Beatles. So we have Beatles place settings and everything named after Beatles songs. And for our pictures, the photographer drove us up to Abbey Road. We had our photo doing the famous Abbey Road crossing, me in my suit and Sharon in her wedding dress, and we got to write on the wall and everything. And funnily enough, there was a video crew filming a documentary about the Beatles there. So on some random YouTube Beatles documentary, me and Sharon talk about why we got married and why we chose that and why we're there. Anyway, and we hired a big red London bus. So whilst we were having our photos taken, all the family and friends, they got driven around London, which was really special, which is really nice. And this was one of my favourite songs by a band called the Field Mice, and it meant quite a lot to me and Sharon because we used to play in indie pop bands. That's how we met. And I was sat in the town hall, and they separate you, don't they, when you have a civil ceremony? So I was waiting for Sharon to do all her signing and stuff, and I was off doing all mine, getting ready. And I was sat in a chair, and I had my ukulele, and I was practicing this and the Hawaiian wedding song by Elvis. And the lady came in, and she said, I think it was, I don't know, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, you're sat in the exact window that Paul McCartney sat in playing an acoustic guitar whilst he was waiting for Linda. I was like, oh, it just made my day. So yeah, specialness. So this is 1989. This was off their first proper album called Snowball. Really brilliant album. I had it on vinyl, and it didn't have anything on it other than a blank pink cover, and then just the songs on the back. So it's by a band called The Field Mice. I hope you enjoy it. I think you'll like it. And it's really simple. Sorry, cough's coming. Really simple in terms of chords. We're going to play it in the, which I believe is the original key, in the key of C. And the chords are really simple. Now this one, we have another famous chord progression, 1 5 4 5. And this is like kind of like those Nashville numbers at their most basic, basically. So we have we have C to set us off. Now this one, we're just going to do a calypso strum, just right from the off. Let me show you. I've just mute the strings. That's a down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Now remember, that confuses some people. I'm not a big fan of strum patterns for that reason. What you might want to do is think of it phonetically. Walk, running, I'm running. Walk, running, I'm running. As long as you have that kind of rhythm, walk, running, and running, it will work, okay? So you don't have to worry about downs and ups. The other thing is you can just still strum straight eights to this, like this. Okay? Just keep strumming down with your nails, or you could even do down-up strums or single downs, whatever feels right for you. But anyway, we have the 1 chord to set us off, and then the 5 chord. Someone spotted the pants. We always hide a pair of pants somewhere in the sheets. 5 chord adds a little bit of tension, which makes you want to go back to the 1 chord, but instead of that, we have the F chord for a bit of change. Back to the 5 chord. So the verse is, if you need someone to hold you when you are afraid, I'll hold you. And we just do that again. If you need someone to make you happy when you're sad, I'll try to. Then we have the bridge. Now, there's a little note there that I got Karen to put in a little speech bubble. The change chord. When we go to the bridge, we so often go to that 4 chord. This is where I want you to start making those links so you can start playing this stuff by ear. So we have the 4 chord, gives a sense of change. If you need someone, back to 5, to tell you, which resolves to 1, everything. Now this time we have a minor chord to add a little bit of melancholy, the 6. It's gonna be alright. Common change, 4 to 5, I'll do 1. I can. And then back to C, I can. Okay, so really kind of straightforward chords, which is super nice. We're going to do a little intro, which is kind of mimicking what happens on electric guitar on the original. What I like to do as an intro is C to C5. Now, let me come in close. C5 chord is really interesting. It's a C major chord, which is made of C, E, and G, with another C here for a C major. And we get rid of the 3, C, D, E, the E, and we replace it with a 5. That's why we call it C5, because the notes in a C5 chord are C, G, C, and G. They're the only notes in a C5 chord. So what we do is we play a C chord and we jump to a C5 like this. And then we go to an F. This is just a little intro we're going to do. We do it again. And then we'll strum the first verse. All right. Oh, thanks, Lisa. Yeah, I'm obviously biased, but I love this song to bits. It's absolutely lovely. If you've never heard of them before, look up the Field Mice. They were just a gorgeous band from the 1980s into the 90s, based on a little tiny record label which is kind of quite legendary in the indie scene called Sarah Records. They were based in Bristol, and they're run in a tiny flat bedsit in Bristol by a lady called Claire. And they had some amazing bands on, like the Orchids and the Field Mice and various others. So really, really sweet song. For the solo, with the interlude solo, we're just going to play the chords from the verse again. You know what to do, guys. We're going to use the A minor pentatonic, C major pentatonic. You can fill in the gaps on this one. So if you want to take a solo, you can take it on the interlude part, and we'll do that over the verses. Again, this one, in the original, there's the simplest solo in the world. The original just goes E, quick F, then D, C, and D. I'll play it with the backing just so you can hear, because it's so simple. Hopefully you can hear it. That's it, right? And in the original, it's played by a keyboard, da da da, which is really, really lovely. They're so kind of simple, these early Field Mice recordings. Some of the originals were just recorded in Bobby's bedroom, and you can hear in the background, you can hear on one of the songs his dad mowing the lawn, which I think is amazing. Right, okay, so that's the interlude, but you don't have to copy that. Just make up your own simple thing on the chords to the verse. Should we give it a go? All right, let's do it. So remember, we can do that little intro, C to C5, and then to F. Let's give it a go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. If you need someone to hold you when you are afraid, I'll hold you. If you need someone to make you happy when you're sad, I'll try to. In the bridge. If you need someone to tell you everything is gonna be alright, I can do that. I can do that. Another verse. If you need someone to make you feel safer than safe, I'll try to. If you need someone to comfort you when tears roll down your face, I'll do what I can. If you need someone to make you feel any danger is far away, I can do that. I can do that. Isn't that a sweet song? A real kind of hidden gem from the indie pop world. And that's my background, guys. You know that. I'm an indie kid at the end of the day, particularly indie pop. That's what I made my name for when I was in bands. And it's the stuff I love. So I like to drop some of those in. So hopefully you enjoyed that. I can't think what the name of the album is. Oh yes, I can. I can. If you enjoy that and you want to get into them, there's this brilliant compilation that Sarah Records released called "Where'd You Learn to Kiss That Way?" It's named after one of their great songs. And it's a double CD set. I'm sure you can probably get it on iTunes and Apple Music and stuff as well now. Probably Spotify. But the Field Mice, "Where'd You Learn to Kiss That Way?" Or if you want this specific one, it's from an album called Snowball, which is a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant album. I used to own all these on vinyl, but sadly I sold them all to buy a guitar. Oh, the madness of youth, hey. Now, because we've sung some quite kind of pretty but melancholic songs, I'm going to skip "I Will Always Love You." We're going to do that one last. And I thought it might be nice to have a look at "Wonderful World," a bit of Sam Cooke, just to lift our spirits, make sure we're all having fun and stuff. We don't want to get too sad, do we? So we'll save a little bit of Dolly Parton for the end, and we'll have a look at this one, "Wonderful, Wonderful World." Not to be confused with the Louis Armstrong's "Wonderful World." I see trees of green, which is actually also an absolutely beautiful song, isn't it? But this is one of my favourites. So this was written by Lou Adler and Herb Alpert, who wrote lots of music back in that time for Sam Cooke in 1960. And apparently Sam Cooke did have some influence over the lyrics, so he took what they wrote and he made it kind of more fun. So you know, the whole kind of history, biology, science book French I took, he kind of added that part, the literal kind of schooling part, which is really fun, isn't it? So yeah, so it's a cool song. In fact, it's one of my favourites. I think this is a great song, really brilliant. Sam Cooke, right? I think he's one of the most underrated kind of soul pop singers of all time. I just love his stuff. Whenever I hear Sam Cooke sing, it just puts a smile on my face. Thank you, guys. Yeah, have a look. Oh, great! It's on YouTube. It might be the whole album. There's also a song just called that as well, Esther. Oh, and Esther, I'm still working on how to do your Bell and Sebastian compilation. I've actually written out all the songs. I just need to work out how to get it off Apple Music onto a USB pen. If anyone knows how to do that, send me an email, please. And I'll send you a you can have your own Bell and Sebastian playlist in return. So yeah, cool. David, yeah, they weren't. I mean, they weren't big by any means. They weren't like the Smiths or anything like that. They were quite a small band. In fact, all the bands were on the Sarah Records label, but really great bands. Some of you might have heard of the C86 tape. It was a famous tape that was on the front of the NME in 1986 that had lots of these kind of small indie bands on it, and a lot of this kind of music was on there as well. So let's have a look. Oh yeah, 30. Yeah, that's the whole compilation. Oh, Esther, you'll love it. If you like Bell and Sebastian, you'll love it. It's a beautiful one. My email address used to be sosaidk after a Field Mice song. I absolutely love it. Emma's House is one of my absolute favourites as well, Esther. See if you can find that one. Emma's House. It's just brilliant. Okay, let's have a look at what's happening in Wonderful World. Now, important distinction to make in this one. We're in the key of C, folks. G. We're in the key of G. So now we have to think of the one chord as a different chord. And I do this on purpose. I don't want to do them all in the key of C, because then you don't get to learn the 1, 4, 5s, you know, the most famous chord combinations in other keys. So we're in G now. So in G will be 1. 6 will be E minor, because we've got count G, A, B, C, D, E, right? And the 6 chords, as I mentioned earlier, we tend to play as a minor chord. Then we've got the 4 chord, G, A, B, C, C, and then finally the 5 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is D. Okay, so Yeah, apparently Harrison Ford sang this in Witness. That was one of Karen's amazing facts. And I didn't know that, Karen, so thank you. That's really cool. Dancing in a hay barn with Kelly McGillis, says Indrani. Love it. Oh, hi, Dooley. Glad you made it. We've still got a couple of brilliant ones to come, so don't worry. Okay. Now, this chord combination is a 1-6-4-5. If you can start to learn some of these common ones, it means you can start playing off by heart. So we looked at a 1-6-2-5 earlier. Now we've got a 1-6-4-5. Very, very similar. 1 kind of sets you off. 4 gives you kind of an element of melancholy. 6 gives you an element of melancholy. Now this is really interesting. We have an E minor chord as the second chord. Now this time, if I go from G to that, E minor no longer sounds as sad as it did in the last song, and this is crucial, right? It's because it's no longer operating as the 3 chord. It's the 3 chord that adds that sadness. C, D, E in the key of C. In the key of G, it's the 6th chord. G, A, B, C, D, E. And the 6th chord is it's a bit of a pop-tastic minor chord. It's not as sad as the 3 chord. So really important that even though it's the same chord, in the context of the song, it doesn't feel as sad. Mad, right? Isn't music amazing? I think it is anyway. Now, there's a bit of a tip going from G to E minor. You've probably seen me do this a million times if you've done these before. It's one of my favourite tricks. From G to E minor, if you can reach your little finger over, all you need to do to go from G major to E minor is put your little finger on the 4th fret of the C string. If it feels like a bit of a reach, it's probably because you might have your thumb kind of up here, so therefore it's difficult to do that. Get that thumb on the back of the uke. Really great practice to try and get this thumb down. You can see it, it's kind of a reach, and I mute it like that, but look what happens. In fact, if I come this way, look at my arch of my fingers. Suddenly it goes from being flat to all those fingers being stood up, which is exactly what we want. So thumb on the back as much as you can. Little finger can come over. Otherwise, you could do a traditional change where you could go from G to E minor like this. But why make life hard when you can do this, right? So that's your E minor. C's easy peasy, right? And then D. Good. Now this one we're going to do an upbeat swing strum. So you can just strum up and down, but with a bit of swing. Swing means we're playing a little bit lazily. Some of the notes, some of the strums are behind the beat. So instead of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. In slow motion, it's like this hand gets stuck in treacle down the bottom. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Do you see what I mean? So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4. Don't know much about history. Don't know much about biology. Alright, just up and down swing strum. Keep it simple. Okay, and we do that twice. So let's have a go at a verse. I'll stay on close cam so you can see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't know much about history. Don't know much about biology. Don't know much about a science book. Don't know much about the French I took. Easy, right? Not too bad. Believe it or not, those exact chords, that 1, 6, 4, 5. In fact, in this key, these exact chords are the verses, or is it the choruses, to I Will Always Love You. Isn't that amazing? I'll do it one more time. So, don't know much about history. Don't know much about biology. If I play them twice as quick, I will always love you. Exactly the same chords. I love music. It's awesome. Okay, right. Back to Wonderful World. The chorus is a play-off between the 1 chord and the 4 chord because we feel at home and we want some change. G, C. We want the tension of the 5 chord, which makes you want to go back to the 1 chord. All right, so if I play that, 2, 3, bar. But I do know that I love you, and I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world this will be. Really nice, isn't it? Yeah, you could do a little chuck as well. Yeah, nice one, Karen. That's a great idea. Yeah, absolutely. If you wanted to chuck it, what you do is you would do a down and up. When you come down for your next down, you can chuck by just introducing a finger and muting. Okay, and if I don't know much about biology, like that. If it kind of adds a real kind of jauntiness to the rhythm, doesn't it? That's a great idea. Karen's embarrassed that she put wonderful world, wonderful work instead of wonderful world. It's because you had chuck on the brain. I actually think that's quite cool, Karen, because it sounds like I do wonderful work with a chuck. I think that's quite cool. You're an expert in chucking. Okay. Now let's have a look. We've got one more bit, which is the bridge. Now this one just goes from the 5 chord to the 1 chord. It's like it flips it. Rather than doing 1-5, we have 5-1, which is one of the most common chord progressions, 5-1. Vivaldi used it for basically all of spring in the 4 seasons. Da 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 da, so on and so forth. Anyway, right. So we have D to G. Do it again. Then an A7 for the 2 chord. That's normally played as a minor. Notice we've got it uppercase with a little 7 next to it. That means we have an A7. Love one of those. And then a D7. So instead of a D, we have a D7. Can you hear that? So much kind of just having that 7th note gives it a whole new tension, doesn't it? You can play a Hawaiian one there if you want, which is cool as well. All right, now we're going to do this really simply. We're just going to play it all the way through. This one, if you want to do a little solo, where it says on the next page we've got a verse and it's all ta-ta-tas and la-la-las and hum-hum-hums. You could do a little solo there if you wanted to. The solo in the key of G would be G major pentatonic or E minor pentatonic. These are in the back of your sheets if you want to have a go. But I'll just go over them dead quickly. It's your bottom diagram there. Okay, so what we're doing is we're going from for the G major pentatonic, you're going from the 7th fret of the C string up to the 9th, then 7th on E string up to 10, and 7 on A up to 10. So 7-9, 7-10, 7-10. Go on, Indrani, say it. I'm not being mean, I'm teasing Indrani because I know it's her favourite thing, because that is my girl. It's my girl's solo, isn't it? Okay, so that's your G major. You can also do E minor. Every major scale has a minor equivalent with all the same notes, just starting from a different thing. All of the notes in E minor pentatonic are exactly the same notes as the G major pentatonic, only they start with E rather than G. Okay, this one goes 4, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7. And the cool thing is, if you join those together, you get one giant scale. I can just join them at will. That wasn't a very good solo, but you get the idea. You don't just want to play up and down the scale if you can avoid it. But just go so you can join together to make one giant solo. If you're not sure though, just strum the chords with me. I'm just going to strum and sing on that bit. So you guys can have a go at a solo if you want to. All right. Notice this one just goes verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus, chorus. It's that simple. All right. Have a strum along with me then. Bit of a swing rhythm, as I say, to this one, and I'll put that one on actually, just in case anyone doesn't have this sheet printed off, so you can play along. Okay, right. Incidentally, if anyone's joined us halfway through and you want the sheets, there's a link in the description where you can download them for free. Or if you go to the top of the live chat, you'll see a link there as well. So even if you've used them on screen, you might want to print them off afterwards so you can practice with them. All right, they're there every week, and thanks Esther and Karen for all your help with these. Okay, here we go. Should we do let's do a chorus as an intro. I quite like to do that sometimes, rather than doing just a verse and then another verse. We'll do as a chorus as an intro, and then we'll go straight into the verse. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. G, C, G, D. Then we'll hit the verse. Don't know much about history. Don't know much about biology. Don't know much about the science book. Don't know much about the French I took. But I do know that I love you. And I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world it would be. Don't know much about geography. Don't know much trigonometry. Don't know much about algebra. Don't know what a slide rule is for. But I do know 1 and 1 is 2. And if this one could be with you, what a wonderful world it could be. No, I don't claim to be an A student, but I'm trying to be. Or maybe being an A student, baby, with the love for me. First, don't know much about history. Don't know much about biology. Don't know much about a science book. Don't know much about the French I took. But I do know that I love you. And I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world it would be. La-da-da-da-da, history. Biology. Da-da-da-da-da, science book. French I took. But I do know that I love you. And to know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world it will be. One more chorus. But I do know that I love you. And to know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world it will be. Almost hit myself in the face then. Oh, I love that song. I think I must be biased. I think I love all the songs we do at Kanikapila because I always feel so good after we finish. Doesn't it show the healing power of music? It just makes you feel good, doesn't it? It's amazing. It's partly why I wanted to do that one as well, because the last song is a bit of a heartbreaker, isn't it? So we'll have a bit of pop fun in the middle. So one more song to go, guys. I've really enjoyed this. I actually don't want it to end tonight. Not that I ever do, but I especially don't tonight. I've been really loving this. So great to have you all along. Again, if you're new to this, we have this every single Monday at 6 o'clock. You can download the sheets in advance and practice in advance if you want, or just join me at 6. And you can always watch back if you want to dig into it. There's tons of these, all at mattsteadukulele.com. You can go back and enjoy the ones we've already done. Likewise, a lot of my students say they quite like to go back and redo them a few times because every time you get a little bit better at the songs. And if you want to practice playing along with me, you can do that as well. Okay, so let's have a look at our final song then, a bit of Dolly. And yes, I am going Dolly Parton version rather than Whitney Houston because I love Dolly Parton. I'm a big fan of bluegrass and old time music, and I'm a massive nut for the Carter family stuff. And I love Dolly's work, especially her early work. I like her pop stuff as well, working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living. But I really love her early kind of folky stuff. I guess this would be mid-period, wouldn't it? And there's a really interesting fact on this one as well that Karen pointed out. So it wasn't actually written as a romantic love song. That wasn't Dolly's intention. When she decided to go solo, she left her mentor and business partner, Porter Wagner. Now, we didn't have that show in the UK, but it was a massive show, wasn't it? I think on a Saturday evening, the Porter Wagner show. And she was obviously co-host on it. So when she left, she wrote this to say thank you and farewell and express her love. And then, of course, Whitney Houston covered it on The Bodyguard. And now, this does affect things slightly because on the choruses, the words are the same, right? I'll go through all the chords in a minute. I'll have the right chords up. Sorry, guys. Just the wrong ones there. Get in the key. Now, Whitney Houston stays on the word I for ages, doesn't it? In fact, Indrani's written it out for us. She stays on that one for ages. But the difference with Dolly is Dolly goes to the word always sooner. Doesn't really matter, but it kind of just creates a different sense of drama in the chorus. So it will sound like this. I will always love you. So we don't have that big massive I that lasts the first 4 chords. We're going to change as we go. So let's have a look at what's happening in the verses and choruses. Now, interestingly, it's exactly the same chords as What a Wonderful World, right? But instead of playing it the way we do in What a Wonderful World, they're just slightly more spaced out. So this time we've got a G. I'm going to show you an actual picking pattern to this in a minute, but let's just strum it for now. So we have 2 lots of G. If I'll stay low. I'm not Whitney. If I should stay. Then we go to the E minor. I will only, just 2 of those, notice. If there's ever 2 chords in the box, it just means they're both for half a measure each or 2 beats each. So E minor, straight to D, C, and D. Let me strum it. So from the top of that verse, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now the second part of the verse is almost exactly the same, only there's a cheeky little G in that first measure. So this time we go G, 2, D, 2, G. Same as before, E minor, D, C, and D. Yeah, good man, Mike, good man. Oh, Karen says I've got to master the chord, the chin tremble. I just look like I've gone mad when I do it. Okay, yeah, I love it. I love it. And of course, really interestingly, just as an aside, because I know you guys probably just itching to play this. Talking about Dolly Parton used to perform at the Grand Ole Opry. And the Grand Ole Opry is where these numbers come from that we use. We call them Nashville numbers because singers at the Grand Ole Opry would shout out these numbers to their band and the bands would know what chords to play. So that's why they're called Nashville numbers. rather than Roman numerals, we call them Nashville numbers. So it's all linked, isn't it? It's amazing. All right. Okay, so that's the verses. Now the choruses in some ways are easier because it's the same thing again and again. All right, or at least twice. We have G, E minor, C, D, 1, 6, 4, 5. Now I reckon you could play this one off by heart because we just go G, E minor, C, whoops, G. Start that again. I was looking at myself in the screen that put me off. I'll do that again. So 2, 3, 4, G, E minor, C, and D. We just do that again, look. G, E minor, C, and D. And then finally G, C, and G. There we go. Fantastic. Okay, nice. Once when this is a completely random memory thing, and I'll do the short version in Trani, but it just made me think of Kevin Costner. You know, Kevin Costner was in Prince of Thieves, Robin Hood movie, and it had that song, didn't it? The Wet 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 song that was at #1 for like 16 weeks by Bryan Adams. I went on a geography field trip when I was, I think, 16. I think it was, on Dartmoor. It's like middle of nowhere. Dartmoor. It's just loads of moorland in where are we? Dartmoor. Yeah, it's just making sure in Devon, making sure it's in the right place. And my geography tutor walked us around for hours and hours around this moor in the rain, and we were getting really tired and fed up. And we were like, we haven't really learnt anything, miss. Why are we doing this? And then we stumbled upon this old cottage. And she's like, oh, I just wanted to show you where Bryan Adams recorded the video for Everything I Do, I Do It For You. We're like, we've been walking for 3 hours for this. So that's what I learned from my geography field trip, was where the cottage was that Bryan Adams recorded that song. Who'd have thought it, hey? Devon in the UK. Right, okay. Let's give it a go. Let's give it a go. Now we've got the same we've got an interlude or solo after the chorus, the second chorus, and we're just going to do the verse chords again for that one. The same solo as you did on the last one, G major and E minor. All right, for this one. So if you want to have a go, you can do it. Okay. Now, I just promised I'd show you a little picking pattern on this. The one that I like to do on this, which I think sounds really sweet, is, let me just see if I can make these smaller, just a minute. I'll just drag them over there out the way a sec. Is what I do is I pinch the G string with my thumb and just pick it down. And then I use 3 fingers to pull up on the C, E and A strings 3 times quickly like this. Now if you put that together, thumb, pinch, 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 you get this lovely 4/4 time pick. It will sound something like this. Oh, if I should stay. So we do that twice per measure. Sorry, I counted wrong. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and if I should stay, well, I would only be in your way, and so I'll go. It's quite a Dolly-esque pick, isn't it? She'd probably do that on a banjo. Not on this song, obviously, but I just mean it's quite a Dolly thing to do. I love watching Dolly play banjo because she's got these crazy long nails, but she has still managed to do amazing finger picking. Brilliant. But if you fancy it, that's a really lovely picking pattern you can do over the top. I'm just going to keep. I think I'm just going to do a down, 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 up on this one. You can just do straight 8 downs. Let's give it a go. We can do it, okay? And I try not to cry. I think this song always makes me really sad. It just does. I think it's really pretty. Okay, let's have a go. We'll do a chorus as an intro, just like we did in the last one. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and G, E minor, C, D. Do that again. G, E minor, should stay. Well, I'd only be in your way, and so I'll go. Yet I'll think of you every step of the way, and I will always love you. Will always love you. Bittersweet memories is all that I'm taking with me. Goodbye, don't cry, 'cause we both know I'm not what you need. And I will always love you. Will always love you. Verse. Take a solo if you fancy it, guys. Now here comes the spoken word bit. Cheesy, I know. Hope life will treat you kind. I hope that you have all you've ever dreamed of. Oh, I do wish you joy. I wish you happiness. But above all this, I wish you love. I love you. I will always love you. Here's our chorus. And I will always love you. Always love you. One more. And I will always love you. Will always love you. Will always love you. Will always love you. Now, I'm ever so sorry that I completely ruined that for the spoken part. I was leading up to it, and I thought, shall I attempt a Dolly accent? No, I can't do that. That's in bad taste. Only Dolly can do a Dolly accent. So I started doing it in English. Then I thought, do you know what? It's really hard to talk and play chords. It's easy to sing and play chords, but talking and play chords, for some reason, you think it'd be easier. Apparently, it's really hard. I had to muck up one. I always muck up one at Kanikapila, and that was it. And it's like one of my favourite ones as well. So I'm ever so sorry, everyone. But I hope you enjoyed that anyway. But yeah. Mike just made me laugh. My wife has worked out tonight is all love songs and tomorrow is the 14th. She finished it off with Don't Get Any Ideas. Love it. I think it was, I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. It got to February the 14th, and well, this was my memory of it anyway. We both had quite a long day at work, and we came home, and I remember sitting on the sofa, and Sharon just looked really sheepish, and she said, have you got a card yet? And I'd completely forgotten, so I was hedging my bets. I was like, I don't know, have you got a card yet? So we basically, after 3, 1, 2, 3, I haven't got a card. Got away with that one, just that one year. And then I recounted that to her last night. I said, are we going to get a Valentine's Day card this year? Because I remember that one year we didn't bother because it was easier not to. And she said, that was our anniversary, not Valentine's Day. So don't worry, Sharon's not watching, but she has a card. And it's a nice one as well. It's got a photo of us on the front, so there we go. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you really enjoyed that, guys, and I hope it's put you in the mood for tomorrow, or it's filled you with melancholy, but in a nice way. Lisa's asked for pasta tissues. Yeah. I will always love Duke. Oh, that really does deserve tissues. Sorry, Lisa. Oh, dogs are amazing, aren't they? They're part of the families for sure. So, yeah. Thanks, Julie. Sorry I made a mess of it, but I gave it a good go, didn't I? And now you've got the chords and everything, so you can do it justice yourself. So I'm going to stick around for about a quarter of an hour or so, like I always do at the end. In fact, I think we finished earlier tonight, maybe a little bit earlier. Just whilst I'm waiting to see if we've got any questions coming in or just any chat, it's absolutely fine. Just wanted to remind you a couple of things. First of all, I have to do this, otherwise I get told off by Sharon. If anyone wants to tip me for tonight, you can paypal.me/ukeroom, or there's links in the description, and I think in the at the start of the comments from tonight as well. You can do so. Thank you. Maybe I'll put it towards a box of chocolates for Sharon to go with a card. And thank you to everyone that's donated. I say this every week, and I always worry that it sounds like just off the cuff or anything, but I genuinely mean it. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this. So every time you send a donation, even if it's a little thing, I put it towards all the running costs of the channel and everything. So I'm really appreciative, and I mean this. I really, really mean this from the bottom of my heart. I feel so privileged and lucky to do what I do, to be able to do this, and have all the fun I do, and kind of have this little community of you guys means the world. So thank you for all of your support. And if it wasn't financial and it was just moral, or just joining in and taking part, thank you too as well. So thanks for being part of it, guys. So I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, the field mice one was my favourite, Esther. So yeah, brilliant. Thanks, Val. I will also love you too. Thank you very much. Absolutely brilliant. Oh, Indrani's got a question. What are the two ukes in the lower level behind you? It depends what side you're talking. I think you probably spot those. So we've got. Let me move this out of the way. Make sure I don't drop it. We have a Phil Davidson over there. That one's a Phil Davidson concert. It's a second-hand one we've got in. It's really quite sweet. It's tuned in a bit of a funny tuning at the moment in fifths. It's like a mini version of my 5-string. Look, this is my 5-string that Phil Davidson made me. This is like a little mini concert version. Really similar, actually. I wonder if he made them at the same time. It's entirely possible. So yeah, my one's got my little Forester Dean. That's the 7-bore, the wave that comes backwards up the river a few times a year in the forest. Yeah, Phil Davidson. I love Phil's work. Absolutely brilliant. And then I've got, I keep saying I'm out of these, and then one more pops up. I've got another, it's a concert version of a Forest Duke. I think that might genuinely be the last one. I think I've got one there that has a horrible mark on it, so that I haven't even bothered stringing that up or anything. But yeah, one more of my Forest Dukes with the funky headstock. These are the ones I had. I co-designed these with a factory in China, and they made them to my specs with really thin tops and everything, really unusual bracing, and the cool sound system. And I did love them, but the hassle of importing them and the cost of the materials and the import costs just went astronomical over COVID, so I did drop this in the end, sadly. It was good fun whilst it lasted, but I enjoy teaching more than running around trying to chase shipment containers, which wasn't much fun, to be honest. Okay, and then the other side is a Wildcat baritone, an 8-string baritone, that one, super cool, by Paul Barnard up in North Wales. He makes superb instruments. He trained under Pete Howlett up in Wales. And then the other one is my little Forest Duke. My other one. That's my Forest Duke that I made. I do mean to actually start making some of these commercially, but I've just not got round to it. Yeah, this is my Forest one. That's the beach at Waikiki, and that's my oak leaf. So there we go. Yeah, cool. Let's see what else. Oh, thanks, Esther. Yeah, they were great. I sometimes wish I could do it again. I have thought about it, but honestly, it was a bit kind of crazy stressful with all the shipping and everything. It got a bit mad. Oh, Julie, yeah, this one's my Phil Davison. This one's quite unusual. It's a 5 string. So let me come in close, Cam. So on the top, I'm a bit spoilt for choice, so I can use a high G or a low G. So it has both. It gives it a kind of really nice jangle when you're strumming. But the main reason I got Phil to build this for me was that I used to have a really distinct claw hammer style. It wasn't quite claw hammer, where I kind of every note would be a pick, and it meant that I could hit the high G like you're meant to in claw hammer, but it also meant that sometimes I could do these banjo type notes where I come up on the low G there. So I kind of used to use it for a lot of that. I haven't played this stuff in ages, but I'll see if I can remember something. Yeah, I haven't done it in a while. Something like that. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, that's my kind of claw hammer style I used to do, and it allowed me still to get that ping, but then I can use that low G as well. I'm so sorry, I've still got a problem with these coughing fits that's coming on. Go and see the doctor next week, so fingers crossed I'll get to the bottom of it. I started some quite heavy blood pressure medication, quadrupled my dose before Christmas, and I think it's the meds for that. It's giving me this kind of chronic cough, which is driving me mad. But yeah, oh, I missed all your nice comments. So yeah, I can. Julie, in all seriousness, I'm not just saying this to get you on my YouTube channel, but there's a couple of tutorials I've done. If you go to my YouTube channel and look at the playlists, I made a little playlist of some of my claw hammer videos, so you can learn how to play it there. But I think I did a live lesson on it as well, which you can look up on the website. There's a claw hammer one there, but I might do another one at some point. Esther was talking about doing it in one of her lessons. Well, I say Esther, I basically said, shall we do it? Didn't give her a choice. So I'd be quite happy to do a bit of claw hammer. I'm getting quite into that again. So that's good fun. So yeah, Mike, the 2G strings is quite interesting. So it's not as if you pick one or the other on a down strum. That would be too difficult. What you do is you pick a down strum if you want a down pick if you want the high G, and then an up pick if you want the low G. So if I'm doing a little kind of banjo run, like that, I'll pick to get this low G and A note, I'll pick up Whereas if I want the ping from the high G, I'll pick down with my thumb, like that. So it's quite a clever way of doing it. So 5 strings aren't a unique thing to fill. They've been around for years, but I specifically asked for it this way. Quite often on 5 strings, they put the low G at the top and then the high G underneath. But I told Phil how I wanted to play it to get that kind of ping of the high G with my thumb, so he put them this way around. He's been super clever because he's done a standard 4 pin bridge, which looks really cool. But he's done 2 little notches on the saddle, and then they both go into the same hole, and it works perfectly. There we go, from Stead. Forester Dean, February 2022. So yeah, he's a clever man, I feel. He's a very lovely man as well, and a proper lefty like me as well. That's flame maple on the back, and a really lovely flame maple neck, and then spruce top. A lot of people think that maple is a very kind of bright sounding wood, but if you handle it in the right way and keep it really thin, I actually think it has a lot of depth to it, which is quite interesting, and it makes sense when it's used on things like cellos, for that really lovely low resonance, which is nice. Oh, thank you, Esther. Esther's put some titles for you to look at on the YouTube videos if anyone's interested in learning clawhammer. Yeah, Lisa too. Yeah, no worries. We can do that. We can do that. Absolutely fine. Have a look. But I tell you what, 3-minute lesson on clawhammer. It all comes down to something called the bum ditty. I'll show you how you're meant to play it, and then I'll show you how I play it. So what you do basically is you hit a melody note, let's say the low A string, with the nail side of your index finger. So your hand has to stay in this claw shape. So kind of imagine you've taken your hand like this, but you fold these fingers in, and this index finger is just sticking out ever so slightly more than the others. Your thumb is sticking up a bit as well, not way up here. If you just relax it and let it fall to about there, so your thumb can sit on the G string. And then what you do with the nail of this index finger, you come in towards the uke and you ping a string, say the A string. That's your first note. Now that's the bum of what we call the bum ditty. Bum ditty, bum ditty, bum ditty, bum ditty. So what you do next, after you've done your bum, so to speak, is you bring that nail down, thumb hitches on a ride on this G string, and then you pull it away. So you go in and hit the melody note with your finger, you brush down, and then you take your thumb off. Bum ditty bum ditty bum ditty bum ditty. And then basically you just hit a series of melody notes. Try and think. Yeah, that's quite a nice one. So I'll hit a low C, high C, B flat, and then bum ditty. See how I'm just adding those bum ditties in. I actually kind of like to do something different. Mine isn't actually strictly clawhammer. I teach the proper clawhammer. Don't worry, on the clawhammer videos I teach you how to do it properly. But the way I play it is, instead of doing a pick coming down with my nail, which I found a bit too aggressive, I just do a normal up pick. It's what Pete Seeger used to do. Excuse me. So I pick some up notes with this finger, and then I just add the ditty. I complicate that slightly further because I'm adding extra notes on the down as well, which makes it a bit kind of fancy pants. But yeah, there you go. Basics of bum ditty. Now, if you enjoy that, I've only done a few lessons on clawhammer, but if you get into it, Aaron Kime, the guy from Quiet American, I'm so sorry, I can't keep this coughing fit off. I think it waited for me to finish singing and then it's come. Um, Aaron Kime is a brilliant. In fact, he's a builder of instruments in the States. He builds beautiful ukuleles under the name Beansprout. But he also teaches, and he's in a band with his wife Nicole called Quiet American. Brilliant, lovely, lovely people. And he has some books on clawhammer ukulele. They're really lovely because Aaron did all the arrangements and wrote them out, and his wife Nicole has beautifully illustrated this book. It's just absolutely wonderful, all hand drawn, really, really wonderful. And there's two of them now. He's done part one and part two, both absolutely fantastic. So Aaron, two A's, RON, and then Keim, Keim for something beginning with M. And yeah, he's got lots of YouTube videos as well, so check that out. It's really, really, really fantastic. So yeah, brilliant. Well, thanks everyone. Thank you so much. Ah, good. Yeah, good. Yeah, you can do, Karen. You can do claw hammer without nails. Some people like to add false nails, not like falses, but you can get ones that you actually insert over the top, like almost like a cylindrical shape you push over the top of your fingers, like you're putting on a thimble. In fact, I think Aaron plays with them now. Phil Dolman uses it a lot as well. If you know Phil Dolman and his kind of bluesy stuff, they're called Alaska picks. He puts one on each finger and it basically gives you nails without having to have them. So, but you can also just use just the pads of your fingers. It's just hard to get that shrill melody note. If you do that, you might find it easier to do my version, Karen, because it's easier to do an up pick than to come down if you haven't got a nail. But yeah, look into Alaska picks. If not, it's quite brilliant. They're quite brilliant little inventions. Interestingly, just ever so quickly, I will let you all go in a minute. Where's that case I have behind me? This in here, I almost played this tonight, but it didn't have a high G, and I wanted high G for some of the songs with my name tag on it. This is a ukulele built by Aaron Kime, who does all the clawhammer stuff. He's very, very talented. So this was the 500th ukulele he ever built. So it's got this cool kind of mosaic headstock, tuners to match, which is really, really sweet. Walnut back and sides, and then a redwood top, and then he's kept the mosaic going. Now you might think a scratch plate on the ukulele isn't needed really, but actually redwood is a very soft wood. It's fine if it's under a gloss, but with this thin satin finish, it marks if you don't put something here. So that's why we've got this lovely little thing. But it's a great uke. This one's got a real kind of lovely mellowness to it. Yeah, so he's a very clever thing. He's a very clever man, and this was really sweet because when he sent it over, he put some chicken feathers in off their chickens for my kids, and his son Henry made me the shaker using the same wood. So it's walnut, and then I think the sides might be cedar actually of this. So I've got a matching shaker to go on my ukulele, which is really sweet. You can actually hold it and play at the same time if you care. But I've not practiced it, and I don't want to put a big massive hole in the top. But yeah, and I was saying this to Esther earlier. It smells so good. I don't know whether it's the words. I don't think it can be the finish because he uses true oil, which I used on mine, and mine doesn't smell like this. But gosh, it smells so good. I don't mind admitting I'm a sound hole sniffer. When I get a new uke, I love it if they smell nice. If you can still smell the wood shavings, it's a good sign, I think. Anyway, guys, I'm going to head off because I'm rambling now and just showing you random stuff like I always do at the end. But hopefully enjoyed it. Esther found it fascinating, so that's good. Hope some of you did. Well, take care, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day for me. And I hope you have a wonderful day, whether you get any cards or not. I only ever used to get them off my mum, so there we go. Take care, and I'll be back next Monday. Monday evening for our next Kanikapila. Sheets will be going up hopefully in the next few days. And then next Wednesday I've got my next live lesson, which is the I Got Rhythm workshop. So hopefully I'll see some of you there. So yeah, Esther, I still keep meaning one day I'm going to do a show and tell of all my ukes. I keep meaning to do it. I actually lined them all up. I've only got really 5 or 6 of my own personal ones. I keep meaning to meaning to bring them in at some point and do like a little video or something. But at some point I might do it. Maybe we'll do a little one of these live things just for fun. Anyway, right, ideas. Thanks, Angela. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Chris. Well, you take care, everyone. Much love for Valentine's Day and for just being amazing people yourselves anyway all the time. And I will see you next week. Take care, everyone.